Who will you be 1 year from today? Not just the places you'll visit, not just the goals you'll finally reach, but the person you'll become. On quiet Sunday mornings, there's something special about writing a letter to your future self, a version of you who feels calmer, more confident, maybe someone who speaks English naturally, without translating every thought. Today, we'll slow down together. We'll write that letter, not to predict the future, but to gently create it. One thought, one sentence, one English word at a time. It's early. The first light of the morning is just beginning to spread across the sky. Soft, pale, quiet. You sit by the window with a warm cup resting between your hands. The world hasn't fully woken up yet. Outside, you hear the gentle singing of birds welcoming the new day. Their voices drift through the cool morning air, unhurried and effortless. Inside, the room is peaceful. A clock ticks somewhere nearby. You notice your own breathing. Then, the soft scratch of a pen moving across the paper. For a few moments, nothing asks anything of you. You simply listen to the birds, to the silence between their songs, and little by little, to yourself. There's a reason this moment feels different. When you slow down like this, your mind slows down too. And in that stillness, something interesting happens. Words no longer rush past you. They begin to settle, sentence by sentence, thought by thought. Writing by hand is slow, on purpose. Every letter asks for a little attention, and that tiny effort, that gentle friction, is one reason new language stays with us. Not because we're studying harder, but because we're giving our brain time to notice. Before you write anything, take one slow breath. Notice the warmth of your cup. Notice the morning light becoming a little brighter. Notice how the birds continue singing outside your window, as if they have nowhere else they need to be. Sometimes the best place to practice English isn't inside a classroom. It's inside a peaceful moment like this. You pick up your pen and you begin. Dear future me. You pause. What do you even say to someone who doesn't exist yet? Someone who is, in a way, already becoming you. You begin with honesty. You write about how English still feels difficult sometimes. How you understand more than you can say. How your thoughts arrive much faster than your words. You describe your mornings, the tiredness behind your eyes, the small frustration of searching for a word that refuses to appear. You write everything down, slowly, because naming a feeling is often the first step toward changing it. Have you ever felt that gap? The distance between what you want to say and what actually comes out? It's uncomfortable, but it's also temporary, because right now, without even noticing, you're already building a bridge between today's version of yourself and tomorrow's. The first page fills more quickly than you expected. Outside, a small bird lands on the windowsill. It stays there only for a moment, perfectly still. Then it flies away. Somehow, that tiny moment reminds you that time keeps moving. Quietly, patiently, whether we notice it or not. You keep writing. Your sentences slowly begin to change. Instead of describing today, you begin imagining tomorrow. By next July, I will have finished that course. By next July, I will have had conversations in English without freezing. You stop for a second. I will have. What a beautiful way to imagine the future. Not just something that will happen, but something that will already be part of your life. You whisper it softly. I will have grown. Again. I will have become more confident. One more time. I will have learned to trust myself. The more you repeat the sentences, the less they feel like grammar. The more they begin to feel like possibilities. Then you write something that surprises you. I imagine a version of me who doesn't translate anymore. Someone who simply speaks. You close your eyes for a moment. Can you picture that future version of yourself? Maybe they're sitting in a cafe somewhere, ordering coffee without thinking, sharing a story, laughing with someone new. Maybe English isn't perfect, but it isn't frightening anymore either. And then, something unexpected happens. You imagine that future version writing a letter too. Not to someone else, to you. Maybe they would write, "Thank you. Thank you for continuing, even when you thought nothing was changing. I know there were mornings when you felt stuck, but I could see something you couldn't. Every page mattered. Every conversation mattered. Every mistake mattered. And one day, without even realizing it, English stopped feeling like a subject. It simply became part of your life." You smile. Maybe that letter doesn't exist. Not yet. But somehow, it feels real. Your tea has become cooler now. You hadn't even noticed. For the last few minutes, you weren't worrying about English. You were simply living through English. And maybe that's when language feels most natural. You continue writing. I hope you've stayed curious. I hope you protected your peace. I hope you've become someone who keeps promises to yourself. I hope you've learned to enjoy slow mornings. I hope English feels like home now. Read those sentences once more, slowly. Notice how each one paints a picture. Not of perfect English, but of a meaningful life. The pen moves more slowly now, almost without effort. Each sentence arrives naturally, like breathing, like waves reaching the shore. Why do our thoughts become so clear during quiet mornings? Maybe because stillness gives us permission to listen, not only to English, but to ourselves. You reach the end of the page. You read everything back, quietly, not looking for mistakes, just listening. The words sound different now, not because they've changed, because you have. You write your final lines. Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for showing up, one quiet Sunday at a time. You fold the letter carefully. Maybe you'll open it next year. Maybe you'll forget where you placed it and discover it months later inside an old notebook. Imagine reading it then. Perhaps you'll smile at the worries you had today. Perhaps you'll realize you've already become the person you were hoping to be. Not because one extraordinary thing happened, but because hundreds of ordinary Sundays quietly shaped you. One page, one morning, one sentence at a time. So, Who will you be 1 year from today? Maybe you don't need the full answer yet. Maybe today's letter is enough. Maybe today's quiet morning is enough. Because every future version of ourselves begins with one small decision made today. To keep learning, to keep believing, to keep showing up. And perhaps 1 year from now, you'll open this letter, read the very first line, smile softly, and realize you've been becoming that person all along.